What's good, y'all? It's your boy Tony the Savant back with another one. Let me do the intro. Shout out to the BCE, the SCE, my boy Mello. That's the president. Shout out to my boy Jeezy. That's the manager. Shout out to my cousin Hawk. That's my baby cousin. Been supporting since day one. And also overseas my Facebook group. So if y'all ain't in the Tony the Savant We Talk Sports Facebook group, so please send a request to get in, join the group, all that good stuff. Hawk is the immediate manager over there. She does a very good job, meeting and greeting and then keeping the group active. Like I said, I can never thank her enough. Little cousin been supporting since day one. Definitely, I love that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. So one of my favorite NBA players, Mr. Paul Gasol, he recently dropped his, it's 11 players. I can't recount at the names, but he dropped his top 10 list, top 10, and then his one honorary mention. And I wanted to do a little commentary on it. Like I say, Paul Gasol is one of my favorite players recently. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame, but he will definitely be in the Hall of Fame very soon. Now let's just get into his list and see how he ranked them. So Paul Gasol had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, LeBron, and Steph Curry. Now, not a bad list. Y'all can rewind the video a little bit. Tell me what you think about that. What y'all think about that list. And like I said, it's his top 10, but also a top 10 with an honorary mention, I suppose. I don't think it's a bad list. Me personally, giving my thoughts and commentary on it, I don't think it's a bad list by any means. I will say this. There's a few things that I think is wrong with this list. I listened to my boy Too Raw for Sports, Too Raw for TV. Y'all go check him out. He did a little commentary on this list as well. And he did highlight that the two names was missing off it specifically. Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain. Now, I've been noticing that there's been an effort in the new media, and not the new media because that's what Draymond calls us, effort in the old media, the lamestream dudes, to just kind of omit the older names, you know what I mean? The Bill Russells, Wilt Chamberlain, which I feel like they're giving Bill Russell his flowers now because he just recently passed away last year. But it's a matter of time before they start, discrediting Bill Russell the same way they discredit Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, Bob Cousy, Jerry West. You don't hear these guys' names very much in the media anymore because the guys in the media don't have an appreciation for NBA history, basketball history, none of that. It's all about who's hot right now. It's the recency bias effect. If a guy has a 70-point game now, oh my God, it's the greatest performance we ever seen, as if Wilt didn't put up 100 points, allegedly. I'm throwing that out there because I know it's a community of people that don't think that happened. I'm starting to believe that as well. But anyway, it's documented history that Wilt put up 100, Kobe put up 81. We all seen that one. So it's a bit of recency bias when these guys are and they have the advantage of being active in the NBA now, playing right now, and also social media, all that stuff. People do a lot of this. People do a lot of media nowadays just to get clicks and views, all that stuff. There's not a lot of honest journalists I've noticed in the sports media communities. It's a lot of dudes that sit here just for the grift. And, they put up their LeBron videos, they put up their Jordan videos or whatever. And I'm not knocking it. I'm not hating. It's not my formula. I don't think that's the way to honestly report sports. But there's people out here doing it. It's a reality. It's definitely people out here doing it. It's a reality. But nonetheless, like I said, with this list, I agree with Too Raw that at least the bare minimum Shaq should be on that list. If you got a Tim Duncan, or if you got a Kevin Garnett on that list, or if you got Dirk Nowitzki, he has Dirk Nowitzki on the list, guys. So let's do this. Let's evaluate. Kareem, we gotta, Kareem is one of the greatest to do it. Was the point leader, the leader in points the scoring leader until LeBron just recently passed it up this season. So, six-time champion. Never, we know Kareem won in college. He won in high school. He's one of those dudes that's just one of the standards of the NBA. One of the greatest big men of all time, if not the greatest big man. Had the unstoppable skyhook. Kareem deserves a spot on anybody's list, top 10 to top 5, if not your GOAT. Bill Russell, the statesman, of course. Like I said, a lot of people, I feel like they just they're recently giving him his flowers a lot more recently because he just recently passed. But Bill Russell is a statesman, 11-time NBA champion, had such an impact on the league that now we named the NBA Finals MVP after him. So, respectfully, I understand why Bill Russell is on your list. Magic Johnson, we talked about him recently, 5-time champion. The dude with the smile that'll kill you, you know what I mean? Like Magic Johnson was just a different guy. He was a GOAT before Michael Jordan. He was in consensus. I mean, I'll say a lot of people gave Larry Bird his credit, as far as him being an assassin. But I think, when I first started watching sports, Magic Johnson was he was the GOAT. You know what I mean? I heard a lot of people, my dad say it, everybody, until Michael Jordan had his ascension. I heard a lot of people giving Magic his flowers back in those days. Magic and Wilt, I want to throw that out there too. I remember, in my early days coming up, I had no idea what a Wilt Chamberlain was. The first time I ever heard Wilt Chamberlain's name was in 3rd grade, bro. Honestly, y'all want to know? I was in 3rd grade. I vividly remember it because y'all know my story. I don't really have a attachment to superheroes, Marvel, all that kind of stuff. When I was growing up, it was sports. It was athletes. My dad was an athlete. My mom, she was just a house mom. I want to say like it wasn't just a house mom, but my mom was very supportive in us doing sports, all that kind of stuff. So that was just my reality. I didn't know about cartoons and all that too much. Because I had my favorite athletes. So, hold on, I'm sorry, guys. I got a little notification. It be throwing me off. I have to turn off my messages on my phone and my laptop. You know what I mean? It just be a bunch of stuff coming through. But anyway, let me just kind of back up a little bit. I agree with my boy Too Raw as far as at least Shaquille O'Neal should be on this list. If you have if you could draw up an argument for Kevin Garnett to be on your top 10 or an argument for Dirk Nowitzki to be on your top 10, you could definitely draw up an argument for Shaq. But Magic Johnson is the GOAT, one of the GOATs, definitely. Larry Bird, one of the GOATs. Like I say, he was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan, as far as, that, what they call it, that X factor, that killer instinct. I think like Larry Bird was the first, he's the godfather of that, you know what I mean? What we love, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron to a degree, that clutch factor. I think that's what Larry Bird introduced to the game. That was his impact on the game. So definitely, he deserves to be on your list. Michael Jordan, do we got to do any more? Do we have to do any more? You know what I'm saying? I don't have many Michael Jordan videos. One of my boys from back home, he accused me. He was like, yo, you don't got no Michael Jordan videos, really? Because I feel like, me personally, coming up on the south side of Chicago in the 1990s, and over the years, just over 30 years that I've said everything I've said about Michael Jordan. But I have been recently going back looking at like the 1991 NBA Finals. I recently just watched the 1993 NBA Finals series. So I'm going to go back and kind of revisit my childhood, and I'm going to cook up some of that nostalgia, and I'll give y'all some more of those bars. I can cook it up in a way where it won't sound repetitive, it won't sound like everybody else for sure. But if Michael Jordan ain't on your list ain't valid. Kobe, and that's a controversial guy. A lot of people don't have Kobe in their top 5, top 10 or whatever. I personally do. So I respect, and this is Paul Gasol, you know what I mean? This is the one gentleman that I can say that I would say that is outside of maybe Shaq, Derek Fisher, the original crew. Paul Gasol is probably the one teammate that I think that Kobe adored the most. And in fact, that Kobe created the Paul Gasol that we know today. Let's keep it $1. He created that Paul Gasol. Paul Gasol was a beast in Memphis, but when he got to LA, You know what I mean? He became a championship beast. Let's say it like it is, because they ain't have no success in Memphis when Paul Gasol was the lead guy. You know, he was just a nice talent, like Kevin Love on Minnesota type. We all acknowledged it, but you know, we knew they wasn't going nowhere as a team. So I like that. I love that. Kobe's on my top 10. Tim Duncan's on my top 10. Of course, if you're gonna have Kobe, you got to have Tim Duncan. They essentially shared the 2010, the 2000s, that whole decade belonged to Kobe and Tim Duncan. So you got to have them on your list. Who else we got here? Kevin Garnett, like I say. Dirk Nowitzki, like I say. You can make an argument for them. You can definitely make an argument for Shaq and Will Chamberlain, those are respectfully the names I would replace on here. And I also want to cite my references, cite my sources. Too Raw for Sports gave me that idea. As far as, you know, he didn't necessarily say those names to replace those names. He didn't do it apples to apples like that. But when I was looking at the list and evaluating it and really thinking about it, and after listening to him and a few other people, of course, but I think that Too Raw hit what his take on this resonated with me the most, as far as, you know, just hitting the talking points that I would agree on. Definitely, yeah. You know, Shaq and Will should be on everybody's list. And if you can cook up an argument for, like I said, Kevin Garnett and a Dirk Nowitzki, you could definitely cook up an argument for Shaq and Will. Let's continue. LeBron. Y'all know I am not the biggest LeBron fan, respectfully, but I do acknowledge LeBron's greatness. He ain't on my top 10. You know what I mean? I feel like LeBron has not won a championship. LeBron has done nothing without another dude scoring 20 to 25 points on his team. Jordan got at least 4 of his championships without another teammate scoring 20 plus. And a lot of times people try to make that comparison with all of LeBron's All-Star, Hall of Fame teammates next to Scottie Pippen, the one Scottie Pippen. You know what I mean? Because Tim Duncan, Dennis Rodman wasn't no scorer. You can't sit here and tell me that Tony Kukoc was just, I think Tony Kukoc was 12 to 15 points at best. You know what I mean? So no. LeBron has had so much help. That's why he's not on my top 10. And let the Bron fans be mad about that. Y'all always mad. I don't care. And last but not least, my GOAT. Of course, I say Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Kobe Bryant is my big brother, but my GOAT is Steph Curry. I think he's recently, with that last championship in 2022. Excuse me, guys. That last championship, he definitely earned his spot. In top 10, in that top 10 atmosphere. Now, I do say that Steph, a lot of times people try to argue Steph resume and discount it. And I got a video coming from Mad Dog Russo. I got some smoke for him, bro. Because Mad Dog Russo is one of those old heads that make old heads look bad. You know what I mean? I'm getting older and I'm embracing when I go out to hoop. Some of the younger high school kids, they be out there, what's up, old head? I'm embracing it. I used to get a little offended slightly, but now it's like, you know what I'm saying? I was doing that. When I was 15, if you was 18, and when I was 15 and you was 18, you was an old head to me. So, you know what I mean? I can imagine, being 10, 20 years older than a cat. So respectfully, but Bad Dog Russo, he makes that title, he taints that, that title of being an old head, because I recently seen him do his top takes on whatchamacallit. I think he did his top 5 point guards or something. And I'm not sure if it might not have been a new video. It wasn't no viral video or nothing like that. So if y'all didn't hear about it, you might have to search it up on YouTube. But he did his top 5 point guards, bro. It was nasty work. The band had Jason Kidd over Stephen Curry. Who else did he put over Stephen Curry? It might have been Steve Nash or Oscar Robertson. But anyway, his list was just so dated, and it was it just made me realize that his list made me realize that why some of the younger dudes in the basketball community have a disdain for some of the older dudes in the basketball community. Like I said, I like to think I'm somewhere in the middle. My YouTube statistics, I have an audience that goes from 18 years old to 65 years old. I'm thankful for that. But, I realize that I'm somewhere in the middle of that. There are dudes like my dad and my uncles, you know what I'm saying? They'll brag on Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson. They talk about the old heads, so that's why I have an appreciation for them. And then these younger dudes will tell you that You know, I don't want to knock him. They'll be like Kevin Durant, top 10 all time. No, he's not. They'll tell you that, that's the number one argument. Like, a lot of people try to put Kevin Durant up there with the big dogs, a lot of the young boys. So, like I say, I don't knock him for it. It's just, you kind of a victim of the era, the time that you lived in. But Mad Dog Russo gives the old heads a bad look. All the older gentlemen I hate to say the wiser gentlemen that watch my content, be sure if you are in a Mad Dog Russo content, video content, make sure you just, drop a comment. Mad Dog Russo don't represent all of us, man. You know what I mean? He be doing too much. He does the wildest. He the kind of dude that said he said Pistol Pete Maravich, excuse me, was a better scorer than Steph Curry. And that's why I ended it. That's why I had to cut him off. I'm like, Mad Dog, man. I didn't even know who he was, really. I know that Stephen A. looked up to him, and, Stephen A. has a high respect for him, and this is how I heard about him. I know he's a legend in the game, but, just a victim of being my era. I grew up on Stuart Scott. The dude... I was just talking to a friend of mine about another gentleman, the cat that covers the NFL. He does the Come On Man. Dude, I can't think of his name right now. But I grew up on these dudes, John Madden. I grew up on these dudes commentating. I didn't grow up on Mad Dog Russo, so I just kind of realized, like, this guy is he's old, but he new to me, and he's he's definitely a character, and I'm gonna start doing videos. I know I give Malika Andrews a hard time. I don't know if I've ever made a video about Nick Wright, but I'm gonna start covering these media people too, man. I'm gonna start capturing they cap in a bottle, and I'm gonna capture it in a bottle like it's lightning. I'm gonna do a video on it. I'm gonna show y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna show y'all. There's no doubt in the world. I'm gonna probably, especially when I get a little bit better at cooking up clips and all that stuff. I'm gonna show y'all, man, because Mad Dog Russo, he was wild. He was bugged out. I'm like, yo, this dude, he just saying whatever, just getting on the stage. That's what something we say in the BCSE. Like, you just up there just talking. You just up there talking to talk. So that's just my take on it. Like I say, Paul Gasol's top 10, top 11 list is it's solid for the most part. I make a few tweaks personally, but shout out to Paul Gasol, man, and shout out to y'all, man. It's your boy, Tony the Savant. Thank y'all for the love, support. I'm humbled. I'm grateful. I'm going to keep working. Y'all the bosses, you know what I mean? Just making sure that this work is nice, and I just want to make sure that it's all good and entertaining and informative for y'all. So, just please keep the support and the love coming. Like I said, y'all the bosses. I'm the dude that love to put in on the work. Ain't no sleep. It's just a bunch of coffee and cat naps. And I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. I'm a savant. Peace.